too dark there?
Now you're all right there, Diego Costa. Welcome to Beyond the Bits here. I'm joined with Diego Costa as always. As we review the Manchester United Celta Vigo game. Big result for Manchester United, of course, 1-0 away in Spain. Excellent result against a team that most people thought was going to be a very, very difficult game for United, given the injuries and everything else. Martin, what's your response to excellent 1-0 win away?
I wouldn't say it was an excellent 1-0 win away. I would say it was
an excellent win, man.
No,
maybe not performance.
Excellent one. I mean, to me, like the game should be put to bed. Plain and simply, it should be put to bed now. But we're still going to cling on a little bit. We've got to that the finishing coming back to haunt us again. It's Rashford got us out of jail a little bit there with a wonderful free kick. Obviously, no. Joking aside, it's a good result. It's a decent performance. First half we were dominant. One minor slip in the first few minutes there with losing a boy for that open header that he should have done better with. Other than that, really no. I guess Romero made one great save, didn't he, on the deflection there, tipping it over the bar, which was actually a lot better save than I first thought it was, having seen the deflection. But didn't trouble us too much. Dominated through the midfield. Having Pogba back just shows you what a loss when he's not in the middle of that midfield. Wonderful performance from Pogba.
Yes, I would agree with that, actually. I think you saw tonight, Pogba with and without. You had the before against City and against Swansea. Both games I think United would have won if Pogba had played. And I actually think he might have benefited a bit from the rest because he was magnificent tonight. That was one of his best performances I've seen from him. Dominated midfield and added such a needed creative aspect to United's play. It's so frustrating because you see the goal that Rashford scored. It's arguably the hardest of the chances they missed. Mkhitaryan once again. It's one-on-one. Look, I know he's been good in the Europa League and I accept that. The quality of opposition obviously is not as good as what he'd be getting in the Premier League. But it hasn't been good enough, Martin. No. When we talk about what needs to improve next season, he needs to improve. He's the most experienced of United's front three between Rashford, Lingard, and Jesse Rashford, Lingard, and himself. He should have taken that chance, and we've seen this time and time again him not taking one-on-one chances and costing United the game.
Yeah, as we said on our show the other day, he just leaves you wanting more. I think he had a little purple patch before Christmas, when it really looked like he was getting used to the pace of the Premier League. Started playing really well, had some good games in Europe. But it's just been, for me, has been very disappointing since Christmas, really. I don't think he's really kicked on. I think he's extremely guilty of missing several chances, to be honest, and Lingard as well. I guess you can always say at least we're putting ourselves in those positions to miss them, but time and time again, I think I tweeted out a little bit earlier there, those chances, it's deja vu all over again, isn't it? And those type of chances we've been missing all year long that have put us in this predicament now where it's looking like we're going to have to win Europa to go through. And I hope, I hope we can do a number on them at Old Trafford. Jose pulls out the old tactics there and locks it down.
When you talk about how costly it has been for United to be missing chance after chance, it's cost United the ability to rotate that squad. Yeah. And when we look at, I've said this on our podcast during the week, when you look at the two injuries Rojo and Ibrahimovic pick up, quite possibly neither of those would have played in the second leg had United have killed the game in Belgium. And both of them played, both of them end up rupturing their cruciate. That's how costly not killing teams off has been. Tuanzebe would have had some game time and very possibly would have played at the weekend against Swansea had he have gotten game time. But because United haven't killed games and kept those ties alive in the Europa League, it's meant that they've had to continuously play their best team. Great to see Bailly back tonight. Such a magnificent defender. Was worried at the weekend when he picked up that knock. He's so good, Martin. But another special mention must go to Sergio Romero, who once again proved that he's better than Joe Hart. Manchester United should not be going near Joe Hart. Joe Hart's not Manchester United quality. Sergio Romero has not let United down all season. He's been fantastic.
Every time he's called upon, isn't it? He's come out with what seems to be a great save on every performance. He's kept so many clean sheets. I think he's only conceded a couple of goals, really. Has never let us down. He's got to be the best number two in the game right now. Still would have reservations if he were to become our permanent number one. But I've got to say, with some of the targets, the likes of Schmeichel, the likes of Joe Hart, those names mentioned, I would take Sergio Romero over any of those guys. And again tonight, another wonderful, wonderful save. And the defense, you know what happened? The defense looks very comfortable with him behind him, which is a huge, huge factor.
Look, when you've got Joe Hart, who every time I see a highlights reel in Italy, he's dropping some clanger, and you've got Sergio Romero, keep more clean sheets in a convent. That's who I want in that. And look, United, if De Gea goes, need another top-class goalkeeper. I wouldn't trust Sergio Romero week in, week out. We saw him at the start of Van Gaal era. It was a bit dodgy. Or at the start of the second season when Van Gaal, one of the De Gea situation was up in the air. But listen, in the Europa League, Mourinho's shown big courage because it would have been easy to leave Romero out tonight and go with De Gea, saying this competition is now so important to us that we can't afford to show any sentiment in picking this team. Sorry, Romero, got to go on my best goalkeeper. David De Gea, of course, knows La Liga. This is going to play him. Credit to Mourinho, showed the courage to keep Sergio Romero. But here's the thing, Martin. Mourinho keeps getting criticised for Jesse Lingard missing chances, for Mkhitaryan missing chances, for Rashford missing chances. All Mourinho can do is put players at the highest level, is make a system, have a system that creates chances. And you do one or two things. You either take them or you show you're not good enough for Manchester United. It's not like Mourinho's blessed with alternatives to say, oh, Lingard, you're getting dropped. I'm going to play Martial. Martial hasn't taken his chances.
Well, there's several players that haven't taken the chances. So beyond finishing and beyond putting the chances away, then okay, if we're all missing chances, then we have to start ticking other boxes. And Jesse Lingard's going to provide energy. He's going to provide defensive work. Yes, he's missed his chances, but he's also scored big chances in big games. So you can't knock him for that. The funny thing about today, I mean, you watch social media at halftime, and it's a lot of doom and gloom. And for myself as well, it's disappointing of the fact we've missed chances and we go in at the break 0-0. And you still see people criticising the team selection from Jose. Well, with 6 inches here or there, it's 2-0 United, and Jose's getting praised.
About it.
Jose's getting praised for a wonderful tactical display and picking the right team, because everything in the first half, apart from one lapse in concentration at the back, it was a very, very good first half performance. Pogba dominating, 2 clear chances. Two chances that should have been put away, and if they are put away at 2-0, it's pretty much tie over. So you got to criticise him or you got to praise him. Look, he said he can't go and put the chances away himself, and it's not like anybody's banging on the door to take those places away.
I don't understand how he's criticised at all. He won the League Cup final, first trophy he could have possibly won. He's got United 90 minutes from another European final. Have you seen United in Europe over the last 6 years? When was the last time United got close to a European final?
Yeah.
Jose Mourinho's done this in his first season whenever it's blatantly obvious half that squad he'd like to kick out the door. Martin, he's worked miracles. And if you look at the Premier League results, look, it's not the most glamorous unbeaten run, but if you can't see that he's got some of the most difficult things right in his squad, such as the defence, all great teams are built from the back. He's got a defender of Marcus Rojo somehow. Valencia has been superb for him. Eric Bailly is one of the best defenders in the world. He has got a back four that you trust. He's not that far away, Martin. He's got this team creating chances, and whenever you need to bring in a quality goal scorer over the summer that converts the vast majority of these chances, we're talking about a Manchester United team that's challenging for the title. It's amazing to me that people aren't looking at what the job Mourinho has done and saying, this guy's done an absolutely unbelievable job.
I think he's done a very good job. Don't get me wrong. I had a good moan on our last podcast. But it's not. Look, I fully support the manager, and I think he's done a terrific job. I just don't like him coming out and saying how the tiredness and the fixture pilot. When if we want to be successful, that's what we've got to expect. If we're not playing 9 games a month, then guess what? That means we're out of all the trophies, and we've only got Premier League to worry about. So I had a little moan at the weekend. It was more frustration. That I don't want to hear that from a United manager. I want us to be successful. I want us to be playing 9-10 games a month, because that means we're deep in tournaments. And, if we've got players on the bench, Tuanzebe, for example, I thought he should have played the other day. I was critical there of that decision. But obviously Jose knew at the time that the injuries coming on weren't that bad and it was more precautionary, and probably knew in the back of his mind that he would have Smalling and Jones available for this game. So, like you said, we're 90 minutes away from the only trophy in club football that we haven't won. So
would you be happy if Mourinho rests players at the weekend and prioritises his Europa League?
Well, I think he proved somewhat against Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea by no means were what you would class as our first 11. So I think there's some players that are going to have to be rested. But who are we going to bring in? I don't think that's at that point it's a time where he's going to play play Nicky Butt's side. He's not going to throw a bunch of under 23s in, but I would fully expect. I would expect Rashford now to be rested, coming off with that knock.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that he was pointing at the inside of his kney.
It looks absolutely bollocksed.
Yeah, so I don't think it's going to hurt. I really don't expect him to play. I think you may as well go ahead and play Mkhitaryan, because I don't think Mkhitaryan plays next week at home. I think he was just underwhelming again. Herrera, possibly. I thought Herrera today was superb. I thought, he didn't get much credit, but he was very, very disciplined, sitting in that different role again of sitting in front of the back two and allowing Pogba the freedom to go, and allowing what's his face, big dopey bollocks there to run off. Fellaini to push on a little bit more with Herrera protecting. With Herrera protecting a little bit then, and I thought Herrera was superb today and proved that he's pretty versatile through that midfield three. And Herrera, another one who rarely lets United down.
Martin, he's been absolutely magnificent this season. Look, here's the thing. Mourinho, if United go away to Arsenal this weekend, if he plays an understrength team, he puts him in a no-lose situation. Because if United lose, well, he played an understrength team.
Yeah.
If they go out and batter on an Arsenal team that's there for the taking, whatever happens, if he picks a strong team and United lose that game, he's going to get slaughtered. And then, of course, he risks of having players out for the most important game next Thursday. It's going to be really, really interesting to see. I still think, Martin, given where United are in the league, Mourinho is still obligated, in my opinion, to take the last few games seriously. And he hates Wenger. Don't believe that personal vendettas don't play a role in how Mourinho's going to pick that team. But clearly Rashford needs to be rested. Clearly Bailly needs to be rested. Do you risk Pogba? And the thing is, there's no alternative to Marcus Rashford. There's nobody else can come in with lightning pace who's going to take players on, unless you put Martial down the middle. I think Martial will play.
That's I think the switch. I think the switch there is to play Martial. I think Lingard plays again. I think maybe you see Juan Mata at weekend. I was just looking at the fixtures there. Forgive me. Obviously, Ashley Young out now. So City play at 4:30 against Crystal Palace at home. I wonder how much bearing that result will have on the team that he picks on a Sunday. If City were to go ahead and drop points, would that change his thinking a little bit maybe? And think, hey, you know what? Let's get that one win, climb above City, and then start worrying about it. It's going to be. I certainly don't foresee what we would imagine that you would put a starting 11. Well, that's quite difficult, but. I don't think so. I think there's definitely going to be one or two. I think Herrera has to rest. I think he's going to be so key down the stretch here. And obviously the ones we said, Rashford has to rest. And Bailly should be able to get a rest now with Jones and Smalling back in the squad. Maybe Rooney. Maybe Rooney starts in the 10, the 9.
I would start. First name on my team sheet away to Arsenal would be Phil Jones. If you pick Phil Jones, the Arsenal players will see it about an hour before kickoff, and they'll be wearing numbers on their pampers, right? Big Phil Jones, a wrecking machine, right? Big wrecking ball, Miley Cyrus. In he comes, starts leveling people. Nobody's more a danger to the people around him than Phil Jones.
Keep him out of the home dressing room. I keep him out of the away dressing room.
So no, seriously. But can you play people that haven't played at all? Juan Mata hasn't played in 6 weeks. Can you just turn around and start him? I think that's a lot to turn around. I would have liked to have seen him come on the weekend against Swansea. I don't think Mourinho has any. This is the problem. People are criticizing Mourinho for the players that he's picking because they're missing chances. He has no other alternatives, Martin. There's nobody else he can pick. So
I think by
team almost
Sunday,
7-8 of that team picks itself.
Yeah, I think by Sunday, Juan Mata's going to have enough time on the training pitch under his belt to get on there. I think he'll start Juan Mata on Sunday. I think just for that reason, I think he is going to prioritise, but it's by no means going to be a vastly under-strength United side like he's threatened to do in the last couple of games in the season with playing a lot of Nicky Butt's boys.
We'll see what happens there, folks. Martin, as always, mate, thanks very much for taking the time to join me. Thanks for all of you who tuned in.
Just hoping we take care of business because I've just booked my flight to Stockholm. So
anybody works for Just for Men here? We've got perfect test case here to see if your product works.
Hey, just because you should know.
I stick a rinse in every week, every month, as you can see here, folks. No need now. A few wee hair plugs. So, folks, thanks very much for watching. As always, thanks for following. Thanks for following Beyond the Pitch and all that. Download the Weekly Manchester United podcast that I do with this Comanche, and you can see the show with Danny Higginbotham as well every week. Thanks to all of you, folks. Cheers. Adios.
Thanks, bye.
See ya.